Hello again, Somesh. Thank you for coming into this podcast. Today we'll be talking about Fleety. Please tell us what Fleety all about.
Yeah. Hi, Shadi. Thank you for having me again. Uh, this time we are talking about an iOS app which is called Fleetly. There was some naming change conversion for it due to restrictions with Apple side. So Fleetly is an iOS app which gives the power of Intune Admin Center to an iOS
Mhm.
device on the go. And the idea was like sometimes when I was working in a previous company, sometimes I need to use to go to users desk also, for example, the support. It's cumbersome for me to carry my laptop every time or think of about of like field workers, frontline workers who are outside working and they need some support on the go also, right? So for such scenarios, it's an iOS app which completely transforms the Internet Admin Center to uh, to a phone on your mobile device. It serves you basic purposes, for example, the all the remote actions, your labs and everything. So it's basically like what I thought of. Let's give Internet Admin Center an app version also, so that it gives you manage devices on the go. So the Fleetly is like manage your fleet of devices on the go. So it's publicly available. It's on iOS, Apple App Store, and it's going good.
Okay. So as per my understanding, now it's designed for admins just to have more like a monitor on their devices that
Mm,
enrolled within Intune.
yeah,
Okay, perfect. Maybe we can have a look. I mean,
yeah.
before we have a look, what are the requirements
Mm.
to deploy this to all clients?
Yeah. So Fleetly is designed basically in with keeping the security constants in mind. So the first thing is that it has to be deployed by MDM only. If you download it from your Apple App Store, and if you are not, if there are certain configurations which you need to deploy through Intune, if they are not
Mhm.
working, then it will not let you access any of the data within the app. So it's very strict. It needs to have an app configuration profile which needs to be deployed by MDM, and before that, you need to have app registration in your Azure portal, also Entra portal. So there are two
Mhm.
things which as an admin we need to create and we need to deploy it by MDM. It's a VPP app. It supports a VPP deployment, that is volume purchase program. So you can deploy across your fleet of devices. And but the first thing is that you need to have the MDM deployment. So it's designed like that, and it supports your BYOD also, and it supports your
Mhm.
corporate devices. So I'll walk you through the security measures, and as
Yes, please.
always, like the code is not available publicly because it's on Apple App Store, so I am not sharing the code, but all the documentation is available on GitHub. What you need to configure and what needs to be done. I share my screen, GitHub. Where is Teams? Okay, sorry, and share. So if you go to my GitHub portal, you will see the Fleetly here and what
Mhm.
all requirements are listed. For example, authentication and security, it supports MSAL, that is Microsoft's authentication library,
Mhm.
and it supports multi-tenant authentication. It supports single sign-on capabilities, and it's basically giving you a view of all your devices on a real-time basis. You can manage all your devices on the go, iPad, iOS, Mac OS, Windows, what all the platform which supports Intel supports. Currently, it's limited to certain restrictions, certain remote features only, because it's not possible to have the complete Intune Admin Center to an iOS app. It has many things, but designed in the keeping in mind that imagine like if I'm on the go and I need to support users devices. So those things are
Yes.
there, and I'll not walk you through a screenshot. I'll walk you. So there are two things which needs to be configured. First is you need to have app registration in Azure AD before because it needs API access for performing the remote action. So you need to have graph API calls. You need to give them consent on an organizational basis. So this document clearly shows you what we need to configure before we deploy Fleetly in our organization.
Mhm.
So I'll walk you through my okay portal. App registrations. So you need to register an app, and for example, I've already created it here. So authentication. And so this is the first thing which needs to be done for configuring the app. The app
Mm-hmm.
identifier should be same, that com.irl.fleetly, because it's coming from the my Apple developer store. So this is the bundle identifier. I've used it. And then this is
Okay.
a redirect author URI which needs to be configured like this. So this is the first setting that an MDM admin or your Entra admin needs to configure in their Azure portal, so that when the app performs like authentication, it knows which is my identifier and where I need to redirect URI for authentication. It does not need any certificates and secrets. It only needs API permission. So depending upon
Mm-hmm.
what level of remote actions you want your users to perform, you can give the remote actions API. For example, if I don't want to give them access to rotating BitLocker keys, I do not
Mm-hmm.
sorry, I do not need to give them this access. So depending upon what all features you want to be deployed in your organization, you can give them the required access via APIs. Currently, I have given all of them because I am using all of this functionality in the app. So I've given all these
Mm-hmm.
function features or API access to this thing. So the first thing is like you just need to create an app, register an app here, and second is authentication. You just needs to be like this, and then API. This is the first thing that needs to be configured in Azure portal. Once this is configured, then since this app is available on Apple App Store, so we can simply go to like business.apple and buy it as a VPP app.
Mm-hmm.
Once the VPP app is purchased, then I can simply go and search, because it will be available in your iPad store here. And I simply need to assign it to my devices here, right? Or sorry, a users group. You can put to a device, or you can put to your user group also. It's up to you. Then the second configuration which is required is a configuration file, which is called app configuration. For example, if I open BPP,
Mm-hmm.
this is the configuration which the app reads, like which the tenant I'm authenticating to. Right? So when we created the Fleetly Azure application here, so there is a application ID here which needs to be copied and put it into this payload here. So it's nothing. There's only one setting here which says that configuration and the Azure AD client ID here. So that app knows that which tenant I'm authenticating to.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay, this is the trick. Okay.
if this configuration profile is missing, the app will not allow you to access anything. You will be seeing that
Okay.
this app needs to be deployed by MDM only. And so this is on GitHub. If I open here Fleetly, this is a config file. It can be deployed as it is. The only change required is this one.
Okay.
Yep. So, and this like payload type com.apple app manage, which means it is being deployed as a managed app. So that's why it supports like your app protection policies.
Mm-hmm.
And payload identifier, this should be same. So nothing needs to be changed here. Only thing required to be changed is replace with your own Apple ID. That's the only change required in this profile. And it should be
Okay.
deployed by MDM. Once it is deployed by MDM, the app knows that where I need to authenticate, and it works for you. So this is the only two configuration. First is Azure AD app registration, and second is this app configuration profile to be deployed to the devices. So here I'm assigning it to all users so that it works
Mm-hmm.
on all type of devices. I switch on my phone to show you how the app looks. Share my screen if it's visible.
Yes, it is.
Okay. So this is like I'm using it on my personal phone. It's my personal phone, which is not which is a BYOD device, and I have distributed this app as a managed app. So when I enrolled my phone, this app came on my phone, and it's like the pre-screens which shows you what the app's capabilities are. So it's basically your central hub for viewing and monitoring your devices from anywhere you are. It's built-in Retina display coming in here. Not sure. Secure device visibility and multi-platform support here. So I click get started. Now, what is this? Yeah, good. So if you want to have it in like a demo mode, for example, if companies say that I don't want to use it directly on production environment, I want to see what the features are. So I've given a
Hmm.
functionality which is called try demo mode. So it does not, for this demo mode, you don't need to do any configurations. You simply download the app from Apple App Store on your personal device, any device. No configuration required. The app will give you this screen and you can try demo mode to see how the app actually works. And just press once and you see the demo credentials one. So for example, demo at, so this is publicly available, this demo thing. So if a company wants to evaluate what the app is doing, they can see. And this is case sensitive.
Hmm.
Right. So it gives you a view of the app or how it looks like and what all is working. This is a demo, like just a mock data which is available in the app for devices, for example, Macs, Android, Linux. But I will log out and show you the real thing. So then I have to sign to the Microsoft because I'm using single sign-on here. Now this is where the redirect URI comes in, where we configure the redirect URI. So it knows which URI I wants to go to. So it's taking authentication from broker now. Sign in next, next, and I use my passkeys. Yeah. So now we are into live data. This is I'm authenticating to my own tenant. If I click Windows devices, this is the device which I have enrolled. So here it shows you all the basic information like name, model, manufacturer, Microsoft, everything here, compliance
Okay.
status, and the remote action that it does. So the most recent feature that was released was Labs credentials. So it allows
Okay.
you to view the Labs credentials on the go because for Labs you need to have access to Intune Admin Center. So now it's because when we go to Intune Admin Center, it first has a Labs password which is encoded into base 64. Right. This app
Yes.
is catching that password from the Internet Admin Center via Graph API calls, decoding it from base 64, and then showing it in a clear text here. So this is my password here for Labs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And if I copy this one to see if it supports app protection policies, and I try to paste it here, you see this pasting is restricted.
Nice.
So I cannot take my data from this app to outside anyway. And then I have option to see BitLocker recovery keys also. So it's now communicating over the graph calls based on the application ID. So you don't need to hard code anything in your when you're deploying the app, that your
Hmm.
client ID, your tenant ID, nothing. App just so this is my here. So it shows me the BitLocker key ID and the recovery key both. Same thing if I try to copy paste, copy, and if I go here, restricted.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. If I want to rotate my labs admin password, it will rotate the password here. And once the device is online, and I can see in Intune Admin Center also the logs, that password has been rotated. Right. Same thing like fresh start, autopilot, and everything. Sometimes we need like to collect the diagnostic log. For example, if I'm on a field job with the field work, okay, I said, okay, I need to collect some data from your device.
Hmm.
Once I'm back on my seat, I'll download the data and look into the logs. What happened? For example, if an app is not downloading, what happened during ESP or something else, right? So I simply press the collect diagnostic data, and this is once the device is online, communicate to Intune. It will upload the data, and I can download it from the Intune Admin Center. The reason I'm not pulling it here because it is a zip file. It has in different formats, and iOS is not capable of showing each and everything. So
Hmm.
it triggers the Graph API call, and once the device is online, communicates, sends data to Intune Admin Center. It will be available for there to download it there. And
Okay.
same thing, if I want to delete, wipe anything, it can be done here. So this is for Windows, and it's all graph calls. If I want to go for Mac, which I love most, so here is like, for example, I want to see the recovery key, file vault. This is my file
Hmm.
vault key. So simply one click and you have a file vault recovery key. And I say my copy paste, it will not work outside the corporate container. I can see same thing for the Mac also, like my name, model, manufacturer, compliance, status, and everything, and like sync restart and all those. So it gives you power of all the remote actions on the go. Android, same thing, like what the status shows you red, which is non-compliant, one is compliant here, and restart sync devices here. So it's just your Intune Admin Center transformed to your mobile devices.
This is pretty simple, but
Yep.
it does a huge difference
Yep.
for the admin
Simple.
life. I mean,
Yeah.
why do we need laptops now?
Yeah.
We
So
just
if
walk around
I
with an app in our phone.
yes, so if I want to, for example, if I go here and VPN and device management, remove management. So in this scenario, like I want to show, like if I download it from internet directly, right? And if I log out,
Okay, enterprise distribution only.
I
Okay,
cannot
that's why.
access anything.
Yeah, that's why when I even downloaded it earlier into my
Yeah,
phone, I had the same
yeah.
thing.
So that's thing, like that's a security thing. You cannot access anything if you are not if you are missing that configuration profile. It's because
Mhm.
I removed it from enrollment profiles, with that XML was removed immediately from my phone. I cannot access anything from this now.
Okay. Going a little bit back on the app protection policy, how you
Mm-hmm.
integrate it and so on, because you told me earlier it's integrated in the Intune SDK. And maybe you can tell me a little bit more about this.
Yep. So there are two things which are built into the app for having this app protection policy for security, because that's a paramount. If I allow anyone to access anything from this app, that's you
Mhm.
can copy paste your BitLocker keys, your labs, and your device names, everything. So I'm using MSAL for authentication, single sign-on, and
Mhm.
the MAM capabilities to give this app protection policies and MAM. Currently, the app does not support conditional access because it has to be in the approved list. For that, I'm working with Microsoft to see if we can anyhow get this app approved. And once this app is approved in the approved list of categories, then it will support conditional access also. For example, if a device is not compliant, although it will show you that it is distributed by MDM, but if it's not compliant, it will not allow you to access the device's pane or remote actions. So that thing
Okay.
is the only missing feature right now. Rest it supports app protection policy. I'll show you how it's configured here. So if I'm right now into my Intune Admin Center, and if I go here, apps, and now it's recently changed to protection. So for example, I'm going into this already. I have this policy here, properties. Here is apps, edit. So for example, I want to select apps here. So it will not be here because it's not in it's not approved app. So this will not come here. Once it is an approved list, then it will come in the public app. So what I
Mm.
have to do is this one was the old one. So I go here, select custom apps, and it is uh, com.irl.fleetly. Yeah, fleetly. Yeah, and I add it here. Select, review, save. So my app is added here for app protection policies. Once the device sync in and it receives the policies, depending upon what I have configured. For example, I am not allowing it to share to cut copy paste. So this is the one which we show in the which we view in the demo. That policy
Mhm.
managed with paste in only, which means that it will not allow me to cut copy paste. So simply add that bundle identify in the protection policies, and it works because the code has those capabilities.
Oh, this is really nice. I mean, a
Yeah,
really nice touch with the app protection policy, and not only that, it's the
yeah,
entire idea of an app. This has
yeah.
been missing for ages now. Um, this is great. Um, we are coming slowly to our end of the podcast.
Hmm.
Thank you again so much for this. Another invention, another
Yeah.
another great app and tool for the IT community. Appreciate it, man, and nice to have you.
Thank you so much. It's always like lovely to have you with the podcast showing the tools and the community things. Yeah.
Yes,
Thank
thanks.
you.